Good afternoon from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 12:06 p.m. on the 7th of December 2023. I suspect today's video is going to be a long one, so I held off until Rati had finished cleaning because I didn't want us interrupted. And I'm going to try really hard not to segue into all sorts of tropical heat stress and madness, because that made for an even longer video yesterday, and I might have outdone myself on multifarious levels. Probably never going to be spoken to again by either of my male friends, and oh well, oops. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll just think, who is this mad woman and why do I even engage with her and what's going on? What's going on? Anyway, we're in the air conditioning. I've brought Charlie in with us because she likes to hang out with the mama. And I was going to leave her out, but it's too hot to be outside, even for pet birds. Because, you know, the wild birds can go and hide in hollows and trees, but she's out there in the scathing heat, getting heat stroke too, which birdie num version of heat stroke is, you know, just as dangerous as human versions of heat stroke. So there is that. Anyway, we begin our readings from 7th of December 2023. And I entitled it a very long title. It's called From Coral Necklaces to Tinfoil Renaissance Men. The timelines converge and begin again. Only now we have the COVID epoch and time is running amok and the sand is shifting under my feet and still the gods cleave me to this mortal coil. A warrior goddess, her fight not yet done. No real love, no money, no luck, suck it up, buttercup. Your time shall come and all this will be a memory harvested in the ether. And as I say, these titles are not up to current, present, space-time continuum because I can't change them on vocal media unless I change the entire thing, and I can't be bothered, it's too hot. And that was then and this is now, and the times are a-changing, and we need to do a little bit more twirling of the timelines too. If only the Hadrian particle collider would stop interfering with the fabric of our dimensions, maybe we'd get a timeline that is more copacetic for human presence on planet Earth and get rid of all this dystopian horror that they gifted us with their interference in the space-time continuum. I'm blaming them for it, okay? Because what happened in the last 4 years has not been, under any circumstances, in the very slightest minutiae of human existence, been normal. Just saying. But what is normal anyway? You're talking to the Tanya, the psychedelic dreamer, at her Titania's Realm in Sacred Space, and that's about as absurdist and abnormal as we're ever going to get. So no judgment, but I just want our timelines brought into more perfect alignment so we can get some sanity back on planet Earth, right? Because I fought hard to get my sanity back, believe it or not, even though I did a little bit of decompensating yesterday with the mango madness or the tropical heat stress. I like my mind the way it is, inside my brain, functioning in all dimensions. Anyway, here I post. It's a bit hard to see actually. This was at the time frame when I was in love with I don't know what to call that entity. The unrequited one. Let's just keep it PG and polite. On a good day, it's the unrequited one. On a bad day, well, you hear me call them names like Nitwit and Dreadlocked Wonder and Wiglet and all of that. And they all are very apropos, but I can afford to be nice since I'm moving on, babies. Niceties in the moving on. So if you look carefully, It's a piece of foil wrapper that came off the back of a chocolate wrapper or something. And it was lying on the floor. And because I'm a bit psychic or artistic, I observed that it looked like a man. It even had his nose, although his nose is not quite pointing out quite that severely. But it looks a bit like Wiglet, actually. Although this image doesn't have dreadlocks, obviously. So I look down and I see this pointy nose and this pointy beard, and I thought, oh my God, I'm being haunted by Wiglet, who's not dead. Fortunately for him, he's not dead. And as I say, I don't wish people dead unless they've done me like, well, they have to do a lot more than just flaunt girlfriends in my face. But anyway, I was astonished because there was a haunting from a foil chocolate wrapper lying on my floor. I walked past it 3 times before I took the photograph because I thought this is just too crazy even for me, right? But this is what was going on. When you're spiritually attuned to people, you get haunted by them even when they're alive sometimes. Anyway, that was dated the 7th of December, 2016. So, of course, me being me and idealistic and romantic and quite frankly stupid, thought it was a sign that he was going to be the one, you know, my partner is going to be, you know, my man. He was going to, well, he couldn't get his shit together. Well, he got his shit together for other women, but he couldn't get his shit together to work anything out with me. And obviously he remains the unrequited one because, you know, there were a lot of cruel, sadistic games he played, though. I'm not going to hide or shrink from that fact. I'm not going to minimise or buff it up by making it nice. He was a son of a bitch, is what he put me through, really. Not as bad as, you know, Davidson Devo back in 98 to 2001. That was savage, and not as bad as Courtney Evans 2005 to 2010. That was really savage, but still that level of sadism and horror. I mean, look, I should just make a movie about my love life. Forget the YouTube videos. Somebody out there who claims to love me can write the music, the soundtrack to the movie, because apparently he's got those skills, and and we'll just make a movie about my really fucking bizarre defunct love life that has been that way since I was 17. Shall we? No, we won't. We won't glorify it. We'll just move the fuck on and have the happy ever after life I've always been hoping for and dreaming of. Could happen one day. No pressure or anything. Look, even the gods are laughing at me right now. They are laughing at me. Like, who do you think you are, Tanya Aarons, telling us how to decide your fate? All right, I'll be humble. I'll be immortal for a change. I'll put aside the warrior goddess trope and I'll just be good because it's hot and I don't have the energy to fight the gods even today. But we've had a lovely time with Charlie. Sat on, just posted a little video of Charlie sitting on my cleaning lady Rati's shoulder, and they were having a lovely bonding time until Charlie bit her momentarily, but they were having a lovely time. And Rati she even accepted that you bit her, you little demon bird. Look at her. She even didn't mind that you bit her, Charlie. That's true love, isn't it, Charlie? It's like I said to someone recently, to get the honey, you need to survive the bee sting. That's proved apropos of something, I'm not sure what. Anyway, 7th of December 2022. Full moon rising. Sorry, I had my sarcastic mother. It sounded like my mother because that was her song. Singing out, kiss me, honey, honey. That's why I went, but I do sometimes sing it too, but not in that context. Not in the context of being love-bitten. No, that's not kosher. That's not nice. That's not copacetic. I keep saying that word, copacetic. I hope it's the right word. And I haven't mistranslated my own English speaking, because I sometimes, on rare occasion, I use the wrong words in wrong context because my mother was a migrant, right? Even though I'm a native speaker, I pick up bad habits along the way. Charlie, you have to get off the laptop. You have to get off the laptop. She's not getting off the laptop. She says, I do what I want, whatever, Mama. Okay, Charlie, you do whatever you want, whatever, because you as a bird, and it doesn't really matter at the broad scheme of things. If you shut down the laptop and fry the keyboard, it doesn't really matter. Well, it does, but it doesn't matter to her in the slightest. Here we are segueing again. We're segueing again. Mother, I'm segueing again. 10:30 a.m. It's a beautiful but hot morning. I woke up early at 8 a.m. This was in 2022. I'm not feeling well, beset by gut issues. I ate too much pumpkin salad the other day. Oh, dear goddess. So much for healthy eating, but I ate rather a lot, so now I am paying. A kookaburra is laughing above my head. That'll teach you. I know, right? Charlie is talking in my ear, demanding constant attention, as she is right now. Charlie, thank you. Up, 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 up. Whistling and yelling, hello, and some other indeterminate bird garble. Indeterminate bird garble, Charlie. She is loving that I sit with her in the shade under the trees at the back of my garden. I need more water. Living our best life we are, even with my sickening tummy troubles. Oh, dear goddess, too much information. But I'm just so sick of being sick. I swear to God, something has to change dramatically in my life, because I can't go on like that. It's obscene. It really is. Even when I had the ultrasound at the hospital and I hadn't eaten for 6 hours. It's just obscene. Anyway, so I write a manifestation. I am healthy, wealthy, happy, truly greatly loved, valued, respected. A manifestation that resonates accurately occasionally. Spiritual wealth and health dragged back from near-death experiences and encounters with evil ones. True love in abundance, even if it only comes from my pets and loving, loyal, brave friends and my daughter Crystal. I got to thinking bemusedly about the king parrot visitor that landed right next to me on Monday, the 28th of November. I always joked he is symbolic of a new man, or perhaps an old flame re-entering my life. As if there's nothing worse than stale cold porridge, darlings. Don't partake of the stale cold porridge. Make yourself a new repast of deliciousness. Then on Friday, I did indeed meet not one, but two men who were intensely introducing themselves to me. What a strange way I put that. They were intensely introducing themselves to me. Read that as desperate. One too young and the other too nervous. So he got claimed by another woman who was more eager than I, which was a shame because he seemed like a lovely man actually, but he was intimidated by my warrior goddess. So he wasn't suitable for me at all. I need a man that can handle my fierce, independent, wild spirit. Isn't that so, Charlie? She says, Mama, you don't need anybody. You've got me. Okay, Charlie. You is the boss, Charlie. So the sign from that beautiful bird was accurate to the point that I must continue to be queen of my own destiny. Keep aware that there are interested parties who may not yet be revealing their most ardent... Oh, my, I got to laugh. Sorry. I have to take a moment. Who might not yet be revealing their most ardent, heartfelt intentions, and, as is usual, be circumspect about the usual sadistic tricksters that try to twist my heart into a gnarled mess instead of bringing peace, clarity, honour, integrity, and true romance and passion to my heart, mind, body, and soul, and of course, spirit. For that, I have to be my own man and stay safe and circumspect. And you know what? All this having to be my own man, like, I'm okay with that. I've had to be my own man, you know, since childhood, really, since I became a woman, since puberty. But even men like to have, you know, true love and romance manifest in their lives. So if they can have it, why can't I? Just saying. Oh, that's right, because I'm staying safe and circumspect. That's right. That's the clincher. That's the little blockade. Well, anyway, here we are. Here's my little Charlie poops with my little Beauregard. Can we see the photo? Oh, yeah, there she is. There she is. My little baby. My little baby. Both of them. Both my little babies. All right, here we go. 7th of December, 2021. I'm just going to go and get a drink because my throat just closed up completely, and I don't do closed up throats. One cannot communicate with a closed up throat. Oh, there's a big shift happening in my consciousness, she says tongue in cheek, because I'm dusting my bedroom. Dusting of my bedroom does not happen very often, babies. So we shall see what we shall see. I got my champagne bottle that I use for water from the days when Jared the Magnificent used to bring me bottles of champagne every Christmas. All right, Charlie. All right. And what did I do with the glass? So bloody hot. It's nicer in the lounge though. It's much nicer. More salubrious. Ah, yes. Here we are. I have to write down because I've got to do a stupid, well, it's not stupid, a purposeful but irritating bladder diary of how much and how often I'm drinking to keep record of the input and the output, because right now I'm just a walking machine. 1228, 1228, 250 mils, H2O. I'm a compliant little patient, only because I really want the situation resolved ASAP so I can get on with my life, right? It'll be nice. Getting on with my life. Yay! Okay. Right, let's sit down. Right. We start again. Sorry about that, but I need water. Water. Shafter my emphasis on. Oh, Here's another feather Charlie's plucked out. Why did you do that, Charlie? Why? Why did you do that? I know. Cheeky girl. Cheeky girl. 8:46 p.m. on the 7th of December 2021. Oh, it's so hot. I need to wash my hair too. Someone is tapping my energy. I sense it as someone close to me, but not in my immediate circle. Perhaps someone I've not had contact with for some time. It feels like a living person, but I can't be certain. I am riddled with anxiety as the car gets serviced tomorrow. I know that I have triggering after the last evilness involving the former mechanic and Bob Jane T-Mart. My wheel almost fell off while we were driving in Byron. So every time after that for the next few years, I would just flip out when I had to service my car. It's just awfulness beyond belief. I have to fight through the triggering as this mechanic, second time tomorrow, seems a kind person and charges reasonable prices too. So the fear is completely irrational and related to the past abuses. Yesterday, my beautiful Royal Dalton Aries plate, which was worth quite a bit of money by the way, jumped off the top of the hutch dresser by itself and smashed. So something or someone got my attention in a very negative way. I'm still angry about something smashing that plate, right? It's not even replaceable. Something is afoot. I can feel it flowing through my body in an electric wave. I guess I will find out who it is in due course. If human, they have the power of telecommunication. If spirit, they have the power of telepathy. If it's important to communicate, they will need to ask permission instead of smashing my best china. The cunts. Lol. So, yes. My angels won't let just any rabble through though. So if they were able to do that, it might be a warning of imminent danger. Or just some hellish poltergeist feeding off my psychic energy. So there is that. But that was in 2021. So that's 2 years ago now. 7th of December 2020. Thank you, Sally Castle, for these exquisite hand-dipped Hanukkah candles. I have never had such beautiful ones before. And she was so gorgeous and generous. She sent me 2 packets so I could take a packet for my Jewish nephew and his Muslim wife and Muslim children to experience their own Hanukkah candle lighting, which I was like wanting them to have that, you know, like experience as well as being Muslim. I wasn't trying to pull them away from their faith or anything, but I just wanted them to have the experience of having Hanukkah together as a whole family, since I'm one of the last, you know, apart from my nephew's parents, of course, living memories of their great-grandparents. So I just thought it would be something nice. And it was very kind of you, Sally, to provide me with both packets of candles and to share the light and the joy and the love, as you always do, my darling. So, my goddess, but it's a scathing hot. Oh, my goddess, but it's scathing hot today. High humidity, same situation today in 2023. Well, it is summer, darlings. It's going to only get hotter too. I have cleaned out the fish pond filter and was very quickly bathed in my own sweat. Yuck. I rang Buranda Housing Centre to inform them about the flood in my kitchen last week. They are sending out a contractor to remove the lino and informed me they will be charging me for the damage. Double yuck. Which they didn't. That was just gaslighting and viciousness on some fucking nasty little male that worked in the admin office there. Oh, there's some nasty pieces of work that work in that office. It really is horrific. Anyway, I don't have household insurance, so the dude tried to comfort me that I can pay it off slowly. Always on the fucking make they are. Quite frankly, the house is way overdue for a new kitchen and bathroom and desperately needs painting and new flooring, but this is a convenient excuse to punish me even further. I will have to wear it, as it was my stupid mistake. I was trying to multitask and did not realise the sink was overflowing till it was too late. Fuck. But anyway, nothing happened with that. They actually don't care if this house falls down around my ears because they're waiting me out till I die so they can bulldoze the lot, sell it off to developers for 4 or 5 times its value, right? It's really that fucking mercenary. Well, Buranda Housing Centre, the reports of my death are greatly exaggerated. Babies. I'm hanging on for as long as I can to my life and my sacred space, house and garden, which I am grateful for, except when they do gaslighting, nasty things like that. 7th of December 2019. It's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. Nah. Home from a good night of dancing at the casino. I am actually quite exhausted. But I finished off my night having a little sing-along with George. I asked him to play Walk on the Wild Side for me. We sang loudly and joyously. Then I saw an old friend I used to know from Irish Murphy's, Helen. She was always so sweet and encouraging, trying to get me match made with Dave. I had to do it, people. I thanked her for her sweetness in the good old days when I still held hope for a loving partnership. Tanya! You dickhead, you, Tanya. I told her she had always been so kind and sweet to me, which she had. She was a lovely, lovely, kind, warm-hearted, affectionate woman that actually tried to nudge me back to Dave a few times, and I went, nope, too many games are played, not going there, forget about it, which hurt me more than it hurt anyone because I actually wanted him back in those days before I realised that it was just an evil beyond words, really. I haven't seen her for a few years. I also saw my friend Morris. We joked around a bit. It was hilarious. Then I came home to my other quiet life as a middle-aged woman with a devoted, loyal dog, cats, bird, goldfish, and rather bloody sore feet. Ow. Time to schluff, that means sleep. Lila Tov, or rather Boker Tov. Good night, good morning. Yesterday, my psychiatrist told me I was angry, and that was why I was wearing red. I told him red is my favourite colour, and I often wear it. He said, no, you usually wear black. I agreed that I wear black too, but now I am wearing red and reclaiming my fiery wildness and quilling like a good burnt-out, explosive phoenix bird. He told me my health issues are quite seasonal and recurrent, like every change of season. I agreed. You can fucking set the clock by me with my physical malaise that accompanies my complex PTSD. I told him I was hoping to be normal one fine day. Achieve things, maybe even get a job and a real loving partnership. He replied that people with my level of survival will never be normal. It was only my intellect that kept me alive and my core life force, inner resilience and/or strength. I told him my intellect didn't do shit for me. I have failed at every aspect of my life. I used to black out in exams at university from the pressure. Although the constant threat of rape did not make it conducive to study, fuck that filthy university. I had to drop out to survive even that. He furiously scribbled down notes. Now my life is almost over. It's too late to reclaim my success. Instead, I go dancing and weave my strangled, tattered life back from the edge of the abyss like grandmother spider. It's beautiful and terrifying and a tad pathetic. My doctor tells me that I am intimidating, and that is why no man claims me. Duh. I reminded him that I am only still alive because of that hag called hope and my own innate curiosity. More furious scribbling. Curious and curiouser. And no, I will never be normal. I embrace my innate weirdness and wildness now. It's a balm to my soul. It's all good. I like who I am. I fought long and hard to be me. It is what it is. Courage in the face of my own demolished, desecrated, and even desiccated life. Beauty, truth, and a picture of bliss reconstructed from nothing. I am a lucky woman, blessed by the gods and some wonderful friends. The therapy continues. I am healing, walking in my own light, dancing as fast as I can, loving myself and my truest beloveds, flicking the fickle finger of fate to the rest. It's all bollocks, brilliant, but bollockingly blasé. Which reminds me, tomorrow will be another blazing hot day. P.S. I felt a bit alarmed that my esteemed doctor was being soul-ridden by that evil spirit, David Davidson. He also used to chastise me for wearing red and bitch that I was too wild and intimidating. But it's the end of the year, and I know my psychiatrist is exhausted and due for a holiday. I won't take offence. I won't ever be normal, but I won't ever stop living and loving passionately either. There will be red. I was not actually angry, but fueled by my inner fire to keep surviving after that awful, terrifying illness almost 2 weeks ago. Sometimes my determination and fiery life force looks like anger. It is more like courage under fire. He is right about my seasonal affective disorders every change of season, though. I see it in my writings that come up in my memories. I was violently ill at exactly this time in the last few years. That pattern is real. He also told me yesterday that I am very grounded and contained now? Good. I ground every day by walking barefoot in my garden. I contain my emotions as much as possible, although emotional button pushing still sends me a bit fucking troppo. But getting older and wiser, I recognise it for what it is. Attempts to dominate me or destabilise me. Just got out of bed from a nap to discover my kookaburra friends are still sitting on the bough above the bird pond. Hilarious. But it's all gone all cray-cray. Why did it do that? Here's a photo of my bird friends. Hang on, let's do it. Let's do this. How are we going to do this? There they are. It is so scathing hot outside, even the birds are struggling. There were 4 kookaburras lined up, eyeing their pond. I am glad to provide them with some fresh water and respite. I had to come back inside as there is still a fair bit of smoke and my lungs aren't coping. I had a quick cold shower, now lying here pondering my existence, as I do. It's quite amazing, this life. I'm actually really hungry too. I've got to go and buy some food, people, ASAP. Got nothing, not even milk in the fridge hardly. It's getting really, it's just too hot. I just don't want to deal with shit at the moment, apart from making my videos and, talking to my friends. Damn it, now I can't sleep. Wired. Oh well. Pardon me. 7th of December, 2018. 3:15 a.m. broken intermittent sleep again, blech. Sleep 5 a.m. to 9:48 a.m. Where did that go? Where did you go? It's going to be a berserker kind of day. I had a very bad night last night. Can you see how pale I am? I was up every hour on the hour with my bladder and not sleeping. It's been arduous. So maybe I'll forget about doing the groceries. I can wait till tomorrow. I'll just live on what I've got here. So I really am exhausted. Oh well, I can always nap in the afternoon before my dance. Intrepid as ever. I received news at 3:46 a.m. I was still awake, from my friend Esther, that Myrna Freed, the former principal of Sinai College, has died on 4th of December. I am still processing this news. She was a good woman. I had some difficulties with her when she deemed my daughter mad and insisted I take her to a youth counsellor. My marriage had broken up, I was freshly strangled, and my kids were naturally in distress, and Myrna, although married to a psychiatrist, was not a specialist in complex trauma. I was very angry about that. The ongoing bullying of myself and my daughters at a time when we were most vulnerable. But I forgave her. Enough that a few years later, I was sitting in Margaret Street Shul at a bat mitzvah. I was invited to the service, but not the after party, as I was deemed not quite good enough by the elitist cunt former friend. Ugh, never mind. You have to laugh, people. The scourge of poverty, divorce and trauma caused many superficial friendships in that community to sour at that time. Anyway, my fond memory was of me watching the bat mitzvah, being stared at from across the shul by my ex-lover David Davidson, and feeling very bloody triggered, but holding my own, as I often do, when sweetly Myrna, who was sitting behind me with her daughter Barbara and her new baby girl, offered me to hold the infant, and it was like a closing of the loop, a completion of our experience as mothers and as a new grandmother. And when Barbara lovingly placed her baby into my grieving, empty arms, and Myrna looked on with pride and recognition and a sense of connection, a strange, ecstatic bliss permeated every fibre of my being. My heart opened and my spirit soared, and I lit up like a blessed angel, and I looked at their dear, sweet infant and blessed her and kissed her head and felt the warmth of new life, potential, innocence, beauty seep through me. That fucking filthy psychopath, David Davidson, looked at me from across the shul and smiled radiantly back at me because he saw what I was experiencing. Closed circuitry lighting me up with bliss and delight. I had longed for another child. It was not to be. But that tiny baby breathed life back into my cracked and broken heart and soul, as only babies can do, as they are still so close to God. I left that service as soon as it finished and walked for a while in the city botanical gardens, processing my grief and concurrent ancient traumas. It was a beautiful but also triumphant day. The Tanya. Sorry, it jumped. The Tanya, the unloved but often desired one. Rut Tanya but Avraham v'Sarah. Your people are my people, and where you go, I will go. I tried to live up to my name, but in the end, it was not that simple. A Jewish witch, a greatly stigmatized, marginalized, much hated woman, is never permitted real love or safety. And a lot of that actually relates to the backstabbing and slander conducted by that former woman friend and that community, and David Davidson, by the way, which is why he was slamming his feet up my steps and hammering on my front door when he died, because I believe he was trying to make connection to me, to apologise, because he would have had his life review and he would have seen my spirit still trapped inside this hobbit body, and he would have realised the enormity of all the evils he had done to me. I'm pretty sure that's what was going on, but he was not allowed to cross my threshold because I have this house so heavily protected. And it's actually only in the last couple of years that he's managed to sort of slip through occasionally and, you know, mutter things into my ear and actually get through to me, right? Which is actually not supposed to, because I had him completely blockaded out of here. But I've realised that in a twisted, backhanded, weird-ass, Kabbalistic, in his case, kind of demonic way, I think he was trying to say sorry, and he's trying to fix things from the other realms. But no one can fix the damage that not just he unleashed, but all the cohorts, including my family of origin. It's not fixable. It's just karma that has come and gone now, and I just have to pick up and live my best life until I slide home base on out of here into the next dimension at my appointed time, when the gods decree that it's my time. I've got to live my best life, reclaim what I can from the ashes of the old one, and just keep on living and keep on loving, right? What else can I do? The gods would not let me suicide. They would not let me die in that near-death experience with the gallbladder surgery. They're running this hobbit body, not even me anymore. I've got very minimal fucking say in anything, quite frankly. And it's a bit frightening at times. Because I'm a fierce, wild, determined, free spirit. So I even do fight God on occasion. I have been known to put my fists up to God and yell at him, "Why are you doing this to me, you sadist?" And life is gradually getting better, by the way. Hopefully, it's getting a whole lot better now. It's about time. But I've seen the signs of it in recent months, since I left that cesspit of a casino with all their viciousness. How I was made welcome at the Brooklyn Standard and blown kisses to and told that I'm loved, and, you know, heartfelt, sincere, genuine, authentic affection shown to me by my bands that I've supported for many years, over 13 years now. You know, I'm seeing the love blooming for me, and it's been astonishing because it's not something I've been accustomed to. Absolutely, unbelievably horrific what I was put through in the past 10 or so years, you know. Anyway, here we go. I promised I wouldn't segue, and I bloody segued, didn't I? A Jewish witch, greatly stigmatized, marginalized, much hated woman is never permitted real love and safety. Well, she is, but she has to create it for herself, by herself, of herself. Because I can't rely on other people to do that for me. I can ask for help, and I ask, you know, my friends to keep an eye on me. But at the end of the day, I'm in this life quite alone and determinedly. And sometimes it's vulnerable making, fragile making. I descended into decades of major depression, then one day I snapped out of it. Literally snapped out of it. It was enough. But that was only in June 2016, after I had felt strong enough to go off all my psych meds and reclaim my mind again. Ironically, I started weaning off my meds in May without knowing that Davidson was dying. And when I finished, because he was adamant, as he was my lover, it was a boundary violation actually. He was my lover, but he became my homeopathic physician, which he got away with that too, by the way. But anyway, as my homeopathic physician, he was dead against me being on antidepressants. He said they're just toxins, and he was right about that. That's one thing he was absolutely right about. They did me no good at all. Just turned me into a drooling, shuffling automaton zombie. So anyway, without knowing that Davidson was dying, and when I finished my last antidepressant on the 3rd of June, he began haunting my front door, and it took 3 nights before I was miraculously shown, because I put a prayer out to the multiverses that I wanted to know who the spirit was that was hammering on my door every night, right? Because it was, even my dog was frightened. Well, my dog could probably see him because dogs are clairvoyant, right? Before I was miraculously shown via Facebook, that was trippy, man, that it was his spirit that was pounding on my door. Otherwise, I would have thought I had gone quite mad. He banged on my door one more night for good measure to confirm that it was him. But I sent that dibuk to Valhalla or Gehinnom for necessary cleansing and processing, and told him to fuck off and haunt his own wife and children, as he was not getting into my front door. So anyway, goodbye, Myrna Fried. May you find rest and peace with the Ein Sof All. I honour you. You were a good woman, in spite of our differences. I had thought of you in recent weeks, but had no idea you were transitioning. So again, my attunement to friends and acquaintances from the past that I sense when they're dying or have died, which is a little bit weird. I wonder if I should train to be a death doula, since there seems to be a constant energy around me all the freaking time, right? But I'm trying to be life-affirming and, you know, body positive and fighting back from the death cult of the COVID epoch, for example. I'm trying to recalibrate and blossom out into full vibrancy. I don't really want to be immersed in death. But I did get an offer from the funeral director when I cremated my mother, and I did it through White Ladies. They were so impressed with me, their representative, that she offered me a job. She said, come and see us. You're so calm and you're so kind and you're so structured how you planned everything out, and you've organised the most beautiful funeral. We hardly had to do a thing because I knew what I wanted for my mother, and offered me a job. So, I mean, honestly, that's still, I guess I still, even at this late stage of my life, that's still a potentiate. But I don't want to be immersed in death. I've lived with it all my life. Enough is enough, right? Onwards and upwards. Sorry, Charlie. So here we are, alive and aware as the past is tying up loose ends for me, which means perhaps my days on earth are slowly, inexorably creeping to an end too. Very conscious of that, actually. When did I write this? 2016. Was it 2016? (2018). So I knew then that I was on a downward spiral with my health, because I've had this bladder problem for 8 years. Like, that was 5 years ago. I knew basically that this is not going to be good, man. Couldn't get treatment until a couple of weeks ago, courtesy of my beautiful psychiatrist who was fighting to keep me alive, right? So determined to keep me alive because he loves me, thinks I'm a wonderful person, deserves happiness and true love and peace and joy and longer continuance on this planet. But anyway, I won't know until we get the results how much longer continuance on this planet I have. So I'm kind of like teetering on the brink, re-innovating my life and choosing life and happiness and truest, deepest love for however long I can manifest it for, if I have a willing partnership, because how long is a piece of string? I might live another 20 years or I might not. Nobody knows. Unless I get a proper prognosis, I won't know. But anyway, so as I said, inexorably creeping to an end too. I wonder what beautiful and also cruel stories will be told of me when I leave this earth. For we are only whispers on the zephyric winds, or in my case, typhoons of tragedy and berserker screaming that blast out any doubts and fears that my life could have ever been peaceful or safe or gentle. But I chose life, so I participate in it, sometimes quite unwillingly. Curiosity serves me well, does it not, Charlie? Blessed be the Holy One, the true judge. This morning I manifested joy by having a lovely chat with my neighbour Tash, standing barefoot on the earth as is my wont. This computer's driving me insane. Breathing sacred fresh air, embracing the rising divine feminine, the Shekhinah, who gives life and love to all the earth, but especially ennobles women, so we can take our rightful place as co-creators, mothers, daughters, sisters, and thrivers, with harmonic resonance, balance, and peace for all. Smiles, getting there. Savouring the miracles of the season and welcoming the many miracles yet to come. Myriad beautiful, soul-nourishing, life-enhancing miracles. Grateful to be still alive, to bear witness to the new epoch. Well, that was before our current epoch kicked into gear at the end of 2019, which I had no idea. I had a feeling something weird was happening, but I did not know exactly what. But here I was, manifesting miracles. And I guess I have manifested a miracle since I'm still alive, present and accounted for, surrounded by love and joy, and my birdie. And shalom. Shalom. Can you say shalom, Charlie? Bit later I wrote, or earlier, depends on where it's going, backwards in time or forwards in time. Unravelling the warp and weft of my story from a snarled, jangled tapestry to a new design. But the threads are picked up and reworked, survivors of old stories that bleed and merge with each other. We honour our ancestors and reintegrate our current paradigm to create a solid foundation for our progeny. We think it is solid, but of course we unpick and rethread and unfurl ribbons of light and dreaming into the seeming seamless integrity of all our lives, intermingled and crisscrossed. Sorry, I'm very tired. It becomes harder to find the locus or the central force in that centrifuged corpus. But we sit and plutz and begin again, a stitch in time saves 9. A village raises the zombie children beset by neglect, abuse and abandonment. Throws us up on strong shoulders, nurtures our minds, feeds our bodies and recalibrates our souls until we have a better story in our glory, honoured, sanctified, extolled. No longer stray threads of abject horror, the return to wholeness, to love. To my beautiful beloved ones who love me and whom I love in return, blessings go out to you, even in my mango madness. 7th of December 2017. I got to get up early tomorrow morning as I'm taking my car in to be serviced. But at least I will know the car is safe to drive. Yesterday my doctor told me that I may have developed a learning disability, as that is also a side effect of trauma. I felt somewhat relieved to learn this, as I have struggled so hard with new situations or attempting new skills. When I tried archery 5 years ago, I was a wreck. It didn't help that I have mixed vision and hand coordination. So I was trying to shoot right-handed because I'm right-handed, but my left eye is dominant, which means I need to shoot left-handed. And anyway, what a mess that was. I didn't figure that out till the end of the course, which cost a large amount of money, and I wasted my money because I wasn't able to hit the target properly, or almost at all, really. But anyway, I gave it a go, and I'm glad I tried it. It was something completely out of left field that I'd never tried before. I had done a little bit of archery as a school kid, in summer camps, but I'm not a sporty person, and they wanted us to, come for practice at 8 in the morning, and I'm like, are you out of your mind? I don't get out of bed before 10 in the morning most days. Well, in those days I didn't. And they weren't flexible about offering afternoon practice. So I got fair pissed off about all that and just gave it up. But really I enjoyed it, and I should have kept going. Would have been a handy skill to have, to know how to shoot a bullseye properly in a target, in case, God forbid, the whole breakdown of Western civilization devolves into more barbarism and I actually need to hunt for my own food or something. Would have come in handy, just saying. But anyway, again, stymied by my own anxiety and learning difficulties and other people's inflexibility too. But anyway, so I'm thinking about all the evil schmucks that damaged me so much over the decades that I've been held back from fully functioning and realising my potential as a woman. To these people, fuck you. Glad you were dead. And to those still living, you stole so much from me, and still you draw breath and sit like squatted toads in your own gloating satisfaction. But the Tanya is seeing miracles all around her, creating miracles for herself as well, blossoming in this late stage of her life, unfurling her torn and gnawed-on petals in a fecund flowering of her middle age. So there. I rise and shine as I have watched mine enemies fall into decline. The season of the witch, the wild woman, the survivor, the goddess reclaimed, the big-footed hobbit woman grounded into her own mortal reality is upon me. Glory be to the gods, the earth, the multiverses. In another paradigm, another Tanya awaits me, cheering me on and guiding me into my own glorious and beautiful, nascent becoming. I love her. I love you. I love my friends and a few beautiful remnants of family. I love my ancestors. I am learning to even love the poisonous gifts bestowed upon me by my enemies. They wanted me dead, and instead I stood up and was counted. Each and every time they knocked me down, I got up again. Just need a drinky poos. It got harder to get up. One day I may not rebound, but that will be the day that I unleash 1,000,000,000,000,000 hells upon the heads of all those that sought to destroy me. Karma to the power of 10. Yes, you have a little drinky too, Charlie. You need that drinky. She's been licking the salt block, which is probably a salt lamp I have there. Not such a good idea, but she's having a good drink now, so that's good. The vengeance is the Lord's. Indeed it is. But I am a perfect, tiny refraction of the syncopated fractalization of the One. My power resides not in my furies, but in my ability to love. Quiver in ye jocks. Heading to see the skin cancer specialist for a bit of a burn-off every 3 months. I am a snake in Chinese astrology, and I am accustomed to shedding old skins and standing naked and sacred in new ones. But having one's physical flesh cut or burned is a very humbling, unpleasant business. The sun god has gifted me with mortification of my flesh, a rent and burned garment. But of necessity, I am rather attached to it. This body is beautiful, even with its predilections to wear out or break down. Let's kickstart this carcass. We've got healing to do. And here is an exercise in Pollyanna denial like a long river in Africa. Just saying. Because I thought about it later. It was downright fucking creepy. I really like this Molchek's clinic. The young male receptionist. Just jumped again, sorry. The young male receptionist plays old show tunes, currently listening to Summertime, which is a nostalgic song for me, as my former sister used to sing it to me as a small child. I suppose I can thank my bastard evil progenitors and their enablers for their love of music, in particular musicals and books and movies and art, etc. Where did it go? On the wall behind him is a picture of Charlie Chaplin. I recently found out he was a pedophile. Standing with his cane in his classic clown stance. My father was a big fan of Charlie Chaplin. Anyway, my skin doctor asks me to strip down to my knickers, which is usual practice as they have to scan your entire body. So I'm standing in front of him and he flicks the bottom of my coral necklace, which comes down an inch below my breasts. I steel myself, eyeballing him, my face beet red. But he does nothing inappropriate. Good, as being almost naked is already vulnerable enough. He comments that my coral necklace comes from the Torres Strait Islands. I respond, I have no idea, as my mother bought them years ago, and I am told you can't get real coral necklaces anymore, as the Great Barrier Reef is bleached out. He says, no, that is not true, as I just bought my wife a coral necklace recently in Thursday Island. Wow, good to know. He tells me about how Christmas is going to be full on busy as they have 5-week-old twins and a 4- and 5-year-old. All girls. I relax then. He is a decent man after all. I tell him, well, the divine feminine is strong with you, surrounded by all those females. I see your wife even dresses you in pink, and it suits you well. He had a light pink striped shirt on. He grinned happily. He gave me a small injection to burn out the benign but bothersome hematoma. I dress again, and he recommends a moisturiser cream called Dermabrate, which will help smooth out my blotchy, lumpy, weird chest. Okay. It was very kind of him to remove the hematoma today and the last 2 ugly ones on the last visit 3 months ago. Which they haven't been so bad since then, thank the gods. I'm glad I don't have to go back for 6 months. Although he is a good doctor, it is still somewhat uncomfortable for me getting naked in front of a male doctor. Which I've since found out with my current doctor, who's a devout Muslim man. He doesn't make me get naked in front of him. Just saying. Thank the goddess that he's a decent Muslim man with this little Jewish girl. Well, I'm not a girl, an old woman now. But Miss Five does not appreciate being boundary violated. So my little girl arcs up, quite rightfully so. And my mature age woman rationalises it, makes it somehow okay. But the wounded one goes, nah, fool, none of this is fucking okay. And the little one was right, actually. I guess I stripped my emotions bare, naked and vulnerable, in front of my male psychiatrist too. I was feeling vulnerable yesterday too. I joked with my psychiatrist how when I was a baby and a toddler at 2 years of age, I was a very powerful, formidable en français, formidable little being. And it has taken 50 years to reclaim that. We laughed. Ah, en français, formidable. You have to laugh. But I'm having a lovely week. Blessed be the Holy One, who brings me out from horror to holiness and from darkness back to light. From stormy, turgid, grotesque depressions to lightness of formidable being. Being loved unconditionally, supported, valued, and validated brings peace and contentment. I have had a lovely day. I went to Coles to buy a few groceries and the staff were so lovely to me. I got given 2 pieces of pavlova with cream and berries by the lady exhibiting Coles cream and pavlova. She came back to give me a second piece when I was checking out. The lady at the checkout gave me 3 free Coles magazines. When she heard me say I had not collected them before, she brought out 2 more from previous weeks. I was delighted in how I was fussed over. I suppose they are being extra nice, as the new Aldi opened next door, and they also have Woolies across the road from them. So now the 3 supermarkets have lots of competition. However, I was pleased and grateful to be the recipient of so much cheery service. There was a man in the checkout line in front of me. He had a towel over one shoulder to catch drool or sweat or whatever. He was very overweight. I had passed him in the aisles a few times. At the checkout, he asked if he could get an item he forgot. I said, sure, I have time. So that was why the lovely Asian Australian lady showered me with free magazines, as she was happy that I was willing to wait. As he passed by me, he said, I have time too. You could have my life. I grinned awkwardly. When he came back, he thanked me, then boldly and loudly declared that he has plenty of money. In fact, he has all next year's wages saved up. I tried hard not to roll my eyes, but smiled politely while simultaneously feeling a little ill. Why do men do that? Try to impress me with their alleged wealth. He sat down to watch me finish checking out while drinking from a bottle of orange juice. I was checking out all right, baby. I was starting to disassociate, leave my body. For a brief moment, I worried I might have another stalker, but he did not follow me out. Phew. My new chicken foot arrived today to attract love, and it certainly manifested that today. Love came to me in the form of the kindness of strangers, as it so frequently does, and I am happy with that. And Charlie, what have you done? You've stood on it, and now it's all gone to hell in a handbasket. Oh, Charlie. She goes, I'm sorry, Mama T. I didn't mean to. I don't bite his me. You get up here and stay out of mischief. Anarchy and chaos, Charlie. Anarchy and bloody chaos. I know. I know you didn't mean to, but it's a bit frustrating when between you and the computer itself throwing itself everywhere, it's a hurdy-gurdy ride from hell. That's all I've got to say about that. Hurdy-gurdy ride from hell. Oh my goodness, where were we? How far back is it? Blah, 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 blah. blah, blah, blah. This is going to be a long one today. I told you that already, didn't I? So go make a cup of tea, you know, make love to your wives and girlfriends or your boyfriends and husbands or whatever, and just switch me off for a while, because I'm still here living my best life in the space-time continuum. She really did throw it. She's thrown it right back to I don't know where. Oh, Charlie. Right, we're back down to we're past that. We were in Coles with the man wanting to impress me with all his wages. Love came to me in the form of the kindness of strangers, as it so frequently does, and I am happy with that. It's a very hot day, so I'm sitting outside with Charlie under the big umbrella, counting my nachas and blessings. Nachas means joy. Update. The voodoo chicken foot is not used to attract love, but is used to deter thieves. So boy, did I get that wrong. But on the flip side, no man has stolen my heart since. Yay! Beauregard fell into a snooze next to my thigh while mooching after the donuts. Very smooth, Beauregard. You are still not getting my donuts. Here's a photo of him feeling hopeful. And you can see I've got my ukulele cord there on the couch. I should drag it out. I should drag it out later after I've had a bit of a nap, because I'm so tired after last night. My goddess. My goddess. But I might actually drag it out later. I've been on about it for days. Been reminded by my memories for days. I've got to make an effort to like actually practice it, or I'll never get any good at anything, will I? Practice makes perfect, people. 7th of December 2016. 2:54 a.m. Crazy epic thunder and lightning that just keeps rolling in. Second storm front as it blew through at 1:14 a.m. as well. Very noisy and intense. No wind, raining, but only lightly. Very unusual given the amount of clamouring in the skies. Hot. I broke a fan that I brought into my bedroom. The top fell off, lol, so I dragged another one into the bedroom. I decided it has been too hot and uncomfortable without one. But instead I am kept awake by the strange epic Donner und Blitzen. I am so tired and thirsty, annoying, might as well get up and have a drink of water. See file photo, which was the one I showed you of that man's Renaissance looking face in the piece of foil. My mother, before she died of advanced Alzheimer's, used to see faces in everyday objects. She constantly saw changing faces in her curtains. She would describe them to me. She also happened to be psychic, and her abilities did intensify with older age or her dying cognition. She was a bilocator. I know that, as her friend told me, utterly terrified, how she appeared at the foot of his couch as he lay intending to nap. He said he even saw the glint on her glasses. My mother, my monster, was a powerful woman. I believed him. I went to visit her, must have been in between our Cold Wars, and I told her to stop terrorising her friends. If she wants to see them, call them, you know, like on the telephone, the old-fashioned way. She denied it, then went red in the face with embarrassment. I realised she had no control over her abilities. In 12 more years, she would have no control over her faculties, bladder, bowel, or even words. Yet she still wielded great psychic control over me, her daughter. She still managed to destroy my any chance at prosperity. Fuck that bitch. But here I am, seeing faces and scraps of wrapping. So Alzheimer's, here we come. Time to stock up on adult diapers and lose my mind. But I did get tested a few years back with my psychiatrist because it did worry me, and no, don't have Alzheimer's. Touch wood. 2 weeks ago, I removed my diamond sapphire engagement ring for the first time in 33 years. The band had split, and I might repair it one day, but at this stage, I am enjoying the release from bondage to a memory and an ideal that I had fought so hard for as a teenager. I remember going to pick that ring out. It was through an acquaintance of my fiancé. I was terribly excited about being bought this ring in the style of young women everywhere. I just have to shake my head, people. This is why I make my own rings now. By the gods. The jeweller made a point of telling me that the ring was too expensive with the Celanese sapphire, but I could choose a cheaper sapphire and he would replace it. I chose a dark blue one with a flaw that when held up to the light looked like a starburst. I knew then, as I do now, that nothing in life is ever perfect. We are honoured by our flaws, our quirks, our mistakes. He said the ring was worth $3,000, but he would sell it to us for $2,000. Michael had shamelessly haggled, as was his wont. He invited the jeweller and his wife to our engagement party. At the party, the jeweller got rather drunk and declared loudly that Michael had scammed him and that he had gotten a bargain. He came up to me and stated, "You deserve that ring. You are a lovely young woman. You make sure you enjoy it. See it as a gift from me also." He and his wife left the party soon after. I was a tad confused, bemused. It was an early warning, but I was too young to realise it. My mother later sneeringly told me that my father-in-law Harry had paid for the ring. I argued, "No, he loaned him the money." "No," she said, "that was a lie. You were bought and paid for by your father-in-law." I thought it was insane. Bear in mind, I still bear my father-in-law's name, my married name, Aaron's. Because, well, maybe I was bought and paid for. Paid off 2 houses for me to live in comfort and ease by the time I was 23. So one must ask the question, who was my true husband and who really loved me? That's a chilling fucking thought, isn't it? My wedding occurred one night and one morning after Harry's death, after a frantic call to the Melbourne rabbi, as the cantor had refused to perform the ceremony, but we were given permission to go on with the wedding, as it had been Harry's will, as he had paid for my trip to Melbourne to convert in time, and his health had declined shortly after my return to New Zealand. Our wedding had been planned for Lag BaOmer. That is the break in the counting of the Omer that goes for 40 days. That was that one window of opportunity to get married, because weddings are not allowed during the counting of the Omer. If we postponed, we had to wait another 6 weeks. We should have postponed. I never should have married that man, but that is hindsight now. Hindsight now, after decades of trauma. My bitch mother, actually right this time, turned to me and sneered, "You should never tempt the gods. Harry said you would marry his son over his dead body, and so it is." Fuck off, Mum. He had stomach and bowel cancer. He was riddled with it. The gods had nothing to do with it. Anyway, he loved me. Did you not tell me he bought my ring? Bought my ring, paid for my flight to Melbourne for my conversion, asked me to wear my wedding dress so he could see me in it. I think he knew he would not survive for the wedding. I burnt the wedding dress in May. I had kept it for 32 years. It was bought second-hand for $50. I had cried. My mother had hit me and told me not to be ungrateful. My mother-in-law took pity on me. We remodelled it, made it modern, for 1984 modern. She put organza in the sleeves to make them puffy, and beautiful lace and sequins on the sleeves and trim of the train. I was mollified. It became a beautiful dress. I wore it with dignity and pride. 2 weeks after my wedding, when I had slumped into a bout of grief, depression and trauma so severe I could not leave my marital bed, my mother called me home for a meeting. "Your husband says to take you back. You are useless." I was fucking grieving his dead father and feeling the awfulness and the enormity of the whole confluence of events. But I was useless, right? I looked down at my engagement ring that had meant so much to me, a symbol of another man's love, honour, integrity, a promise to give him Jewish grandchildren. I wanted my future. I wanted my babies. I wanted my freedom. I fell from frying pan into the fire, abused and manipulated by both mother and husband. The price I paid for adulthood, farcical. But I was young. I wanted safety, success. I walked out on my mother and stayed loyal to my treacherous cur of a husband. I brushed it aside as more of her envy and spite. I did not know I was settling for less, so much less. After my second baby was born, there was a terrific fight between myself and my former brother-in-law over jewellery, my mother-in-law's. They had scalped her of everything she owned, including her wedding ring. I disagreed with it. I called him out on it. So he was verbally and physically threatening me in my own home while Michael weakly stood by. Jacques even threatened me in my baby daughter's nursery, where I had gone to get away from him. At this point, I considered smashing him over the head with my reproduction Queen Anne chair, one of the few things I brought to my marriage as a 19-year-old. Oh, how I wish I had done so. Utter filth who scavenged my mother-in-law of her treasures like the greedy vermin they were, leaving her kitchen table strewn with empty jewel and ring boxes. Cowards and bullies, all of them. After that level of abuse, I should have taken both babies and fled. But to where? No money, no future, nothing ever changed. So after I had finally left my husband, I still wore that ring. Never took it off, never forgot who had wanted me to be happy, to be loved, to succeed. To you, Herschel, Aaron Chick, Tzvi Hirsch Ben Aaron. Two years later, in 1998, I tried to sell it to an Israeli diamond merchant here in Brisbane in order to pay for Crystal's bat mitzvah, which my husband, true to form, refused to pay for. The diamond merchant told me he would only give me $240. He pressed his hand against his chest, but I can't in good conscience do that to you, Tanya. You keep that ring. Wear it in good health. You deserve it. It has intrinsic value only to you. Danny Torren. I started to cry, but swallowed my tears. I needed that $240 to pay for the Simcha celebration. But he was right. The ring was worth way more than a party. You know something? I have been brutalized and traumatized by 2 Israeli men in my life. Lovers gone bad. But that diamond merchant, Danny Torren, I'm naming you, mate, truly was the only Israeli male that never tried or wanted to fuck me over. I have never forgotten that backhanded kindness. And I'm going to tell you here and now on YouTube in front of the entire world and the outer echelons of space, whoever picks up our messages that get relayed from satellite to satellite, Danny Torren. If I ever get enough money, I'll be coming to buy a few diamonds from you for my new silversmithing hobby. When I can afford it, I will buy my diamonds from you in gratitude for that sweetness and kindness you showed me back when I was so fucking destitute, I needed to sell that ring for the bat mitzvah. You are a man of honour and decency and integrity, and may the Holy One bless you and yours always. From the Tanya, the witch, the heathen, the Viking, and the shaman, and the psychedelic dreamer. To you and your wife Tanya, who was teaching my children in Sinai College all those many, many, many decades ago. Years later, when I was with Courtney, he argued with me one night about whether or not my ring had real diamonds. So he took it into my bathroom and scratched my mirror with it. It scratched. Scratch is still there to this day. I looked at that scratch with a strange clarity this morning. Such envy. My lovers had envied that ring. I would quip, "Why are you so jealous? It's not like you were going to buy me one." And if my mother was telling the truth, not even my husband bought it for me, but it was allegedly bought by my father-in-law. Oh, the irony. It is not like the ring was exceedingly valuable except to me, my child bride price, my badge of honour, my promise keeper. Davidson had actually given me a silver ring with a peace sign made out of Israeli greenstone. I wore it with sincere girlish happiness, to me as precious as the diamond engagement ring, until I realised he was fucking around on me with Kylie, and I drove to his house and gave it back. I am not someone you trivialise or throw trinkets at. I handed it to his son, who answered the door. "Give this to your daddy. It does not belong to me." I left in tears, my kids in the car. Jasmine noticed David had come to his front door, standing to wait for me to drive past. When you drive past, Mummy, don't let him see you cry. Smile and wave. So we did. My little Viking goddess warrior children. We stood our ground. And now my hands are free. My life is free. A woman of valour, who shall find? For her price is far above rubies, diamonds, and flawed sapphires. Worthy, loved, valued beyond measure. Freedom. Oh, I forgot to mention, my sweet little nephew with the heart of his grandfather, aged 9 or 10, grateful for the love and affection I showered upon him. The kid had asthma, as do I, and was often sickly, and was frequently left in our care while his narcopath parents went skiing, or with friends of the family, the Richies. Well, this kid once offered to buy me a diamond ring one day. What did he hear in that malicious household? I don't need diamonds. I need love, respect, acceptance. Only one little boy knew that out of that family. Proud to know him. The sweet boy has grown to be a sweet man, even though we're estranged now, I have not changed my opinion of how I knew him as a child. I told my psychiatrist about my ring this arvo. He said it would be cathartic for me to throw it in the sea in Byron Bay, which, to be honest, I wish I had done so. I am tempted to do that, but it is still a memory of Harry, who wanted me to be happy, successful, and loved. And instead I sold it, I think in 2017 or 2018, I can't remember, for a lousy $120, and had a breakdown and cried for days afterwards. So it wasn't the ring, it was the energetic connection to my father-in-law, who loved me deeply and decently and honouringly. Even when his grandson came to visit my house, the table tipped up by itself. It's a full-size dining table. We were sitting there astonished, and I looked at everyone. I didn't want the children to be frightened, and I just said, Harry is here, happy that we are together as a family for the first time in many, many years. That's how deep and spiritual my connection to Harry and Hilda Aarons was, and probably still is. Home from my shrink. Went to Pet Barn for straw and cat biscuits and Milba Max heartworm tablets. Beauregard pooped on their shop floor. Oh my God, embarrassing. The nice young man cleaned up, then helped me carry the 12-kilogram bale of straw back to my car, which was parked at the gym. Extremely kind. Car covered with cover as impending storm, although it might pass me by. Drinking cold water, eating chocolate ice block, and watching Netflix. Not so bad day. 7th of December 2015. 15 weeks and 2 days after my suicide attempt. 7:45 a.m. Good morning. I have celebrated my life by eating 7 raspberries and 3 young berries from my vines. Oh, I should go and check them now, actually. They were coming into fruit. Completely forgot about them. The young berries were very tasty. Pity there were so few. Beauregard is celebrating his life by being particularly lively this morning. He has chased Tabitha several times, and then Frida, and is currently trying to engage Mushu in puppy play. Mushu was vaguely interested, so he got up from his supine position, but Beau remembered he is hungry, so left him in the lurch. Mushu's ears are waggling backwards and forwards in bemusement. Make up your mind, mutt. He and Bobo will become friends. Mushu doesn't mind a bit of rambunctiousness, being only 1 year old himself. He is secretly enjoying no longer being the baby of the family, although he is a bit peeved at being mama smothered less often. Penny is outside taking a break from guarding a snoring, breath-stopping, somnolent mother human. Once again, I am alive and grateful for a new day. I feel rather exhausted and emotionally hammered from the past 2 weeks, but I have my highs and lows, and we are churning up a steep incline so we can free fall down the other side, with my beau beside me. It occurred to me that he quite looks like the dog Brian in that wacky cartoon with the megalomaniac baby. What is wrong with me that everything in my life emulates my original narcissist, psychopath, child molesting family? Not even projection, ha ha ha. I was not born but created in a cesspool of lies, false love and deceit. Thanks for that, Charlie. Just shat all down my dress. My mother, the mad money property materialist, and my father, the jack of all trades, who pandered to her delusions of grandeur, but fought over the size of a safety pin, or whether he was right or not, screaming blue murder until the infant, aged 5, declared that no one was right, but she was surrounded by fucking maniacs. Don't worry, Daddy, I still love you. Living in the shadow of his rage and torment and aggression, waiting to piss him off by walking in front of the TV or by breathing. My mother, equally easily irritated by the kid, being referred to by the tulip as a bonus, another paedophile sexual harasser, then living with threats of rape at 15. Pushing him backwards down the stairs as my mother was sojourning in Brisbane and left me alone with the creep who declared he could do whatever he wanted with me now. Worst of all, forgiving or blocking it out for decades, then being reminded by Lynn's statement for the will dispute. Then remembering, married and heavily pregnant, how he asked to touch my belly, but his hands strayed lower and I walked away in disgust. Then during the same precious magical time, having my own father step up behind me as I washed the dishes in my own marital home and cupped my burgeoning pregnant breasts from behind, freezing in shock. Daddy has never molested me before. I am 20 years old, having his grandchild with a husband, respectable Jewish wife and mother in waiting. And this is how my father treats me? I step away, say nothing, do nothing. Ashamed and embarrassed that my fecund body could elucidate sexual feelings in my own father. So began the long, slow process of detachment, simmering contempt, and skeins of pain. He never touched me like that again, but became creepy and inappropriate when he stayed in Loganlea with me and my children. I lived in constant dread that he might touch my girls. I hated going to work out of fear of having to leave them alone with him or any man. I had breakdowns that lasted months, but I went to work most days until it became impossible. Too much abuse, bullying and undermining at work, too much exhaustion at home, torn between wanting a career and keeping myself and my daughters safe, albeit in poverty. I chose poverty, for which my little sociopath, Jasmine, it's in the fucking genes, man, skip generation, intergenerational trauma, product of a bitter divorce and poverty, and did I mention trauma, will never forgive me. She bought into my narcissist sister's glib attitude. Get a job, get a haircut, get money, be a raging success so all the bad shit goes away. It doesn't. I have tried. My sister raped my daughter's minds by variously being jealous of Crystal's burgeoning acting career as a tween and feeding and grooming Jasmine's sociopathology. Oh, Jasmine, why, you were just like me, my favourite niece. In actual fact, she never gave a flying fuck about any of us, but enjoyed a good split. Where was I? Oh yes, celebrating my life with creatures that don't lie, rape, or betray. He's looking at you, Charlie. And eating sweet summer berries, listening to the crows fight over a dead rat, must be one of Sox's, and living in love with love for its own sake, just because it is the only thing that still gets me through the day, and drugs. Lol. Tiny pills of harden the fuck up and laugh in the face of horror. Great stuff. Antidepressants for life because my family are fuck-ups. Not really fair, but it is what it is. I dreamt of Gila this morning and my ex-husband. My brain is still processing trauma even when I am sleeping. My body is healing itself, whether I want to participate in it or not. Stubborn, gelatinous, 80 kilos of flesh and bones. Well, I've gained 10 kilos since then. Shit, not good for me, not good for me at all. I have to trust it. It is a beautiful, valuable gift from the universe. I want it returned in an unsullied state, removing layers of empty, dead memories and skin, and regenerating takes time, lots and lots of time. Time is all we have, a human construct for all eternity. Happiness is knowing, in perhaps several more incarnations, I will be beautiful, cleansed, and luminous. And here I posted a meme. Can you see her? Lucille Ball, pouring champagne and laughing madly. Not everyone likes me, but not everyone matters. Story of my fucking life, people. And I'm okay with that too. 12:11 p.m. Bobo is a genius. He refused to walk down his ramp on the back steps until I realigned it properly and moved a brick back underneath to stop the wobble. He whined and cried until I did this. Not a suicidal risk taker. Love this dog. 7 weeks old and more common sense and brains than the average bear. A moment later, and the genius is chewing on chook poo. Uh-oh. Motherly humanoid pride just sank 3 points. Bit later I wrote, I think I better think it out again. Fagin, the Jewish pickpocket master in Oliver Twist. So back to bed I go. Happy thoughts. 7th of December 2014. The only way to win the game is not to play. I am better than this. I deserve way better. I can kick the shit to death, or I can rise above it, freewheeling, floating, flying, and flibbity-gibbeting every day. True loves don't lie, cheat, or play emotional games. 5:56 p.m. Got woken up at 5, absolutely knackered. I have run out of meds, so have to go to the chemist. At least it is a nice cool day out. 7th of December 2013. 4:29 a.m. Had a wonderful time with the two Sarahs. We went to an art opening night and met the lovely Junie and Brett who were exhibiting. Then we went to the Bombshell Burlesque show, which was stimulating and lovely. Then on to Irish Murphy's to dance along with Burst. I stayed on in town to hang out with my busker friend George. We had a lovely time as usual talking to the drunks, homeless men and the punters. I was given a lovely compliment from one guy outside the casino. He said he remembered me from a year ago when I used to dance at the former Livewire bar, which reopens this Friday. Yay! He said he and his wife and group of friends were very impressed with my beautiful dress and corset, and he remembered how stunning I looked and that I was dancing with a group of people and how happy I looked. I tried to remember which corset and skirt I had on back then. I thanked him and couldn't help giggling. He said, "Please wear that outfit again. My wife and friends really loved how you looked." So I told him, I have a new one and I will definitely wear it to the casino next time I am there. So that really made my night. Dawn sprung in the lovely hues of aqua and turquoise and indigo. Another busker took over from George at 4 a.m. Then I headed home after watching him get warmed up. Good guitarist, but his voice isn't as good as George, but that's okay. 7th of December 2012. Crystal was in a lot of pain and the doctor at the RBH neglected to send her home with some endo. Pardon me. Idiots. They were idiots, weren't they, Charlie? I don't know how they get medical degrees. It just blows my mind. So I have instructed her boyfriend to go back to the RBH to get a script filled for her via the hospital pharmacy. Sylvia Shine wrote, "Bloody idiots. What happened when doctors did a wonderful, dedicated job in the old days? Indeed, what the fuck happened?" And it's got worse since then. That was 2012. But Jesus. 7th of December 2011. Margaret sent me all my letters I wrote to her between 1977 to 1989. Quite an amazing window on my former life. Thought-provoking. I can see I haven't changed much. Still a philosopher. Still have a weird sense of humour. Still very stupid. But perhaps not so naive anymore. It is nice to be discovering the old and new me and reintegrating my past so I can put it behind me forever and move forward as an entirely new creation. Here she is. My darling Lynn went out today and bought me a printer so I can print out all the legal docs from the will dispute for posterity. I will pay her back. Just the last crap from Shearer's is 100 pages long. Just woke up from a nap in time to be confused whether it's evening or morning. The brief twilight had me fooled, lol. I have thoroughly enjoyed the rain today. It is just delicious to have an entire day of cool, wet, constant rain soaking into the ground. Outside my window, I can hear the garden breathing out happiness, relief, and communing with each other. I know I'll have lots of little surprises tomorrow, peeping out of the foliage. I got so cold, I went to bed to have a nap and warm up the Savo. But I don't mind. I need all the strength I can get for Friday's Mishugas. 7th of December, 2010. I've had a constructive day doing lots of washing, dishes, vacuuming, a bit of a swish with the mop, and steam cleaned the windows in the kitchen. Tonight, when Crystal and Jared visited with some lovely fish and chips, I was in so much pain in my right leg I could barely walk. Oi, hopefully I'll be better tomorrow. My dog Bella is a linguist. She has learned to translate English into dog. She only hears bath or wash your bum and reacts appropriately for her, i.e. hides under the bed or under the house so I can't get her and wash her. So annoying, but so interesting. She knows when I'm talking about her and gets very miffed if she thinks I'm talking about her bad habits. I might have to hide under the bed myself now. Bella had a lovely bath. She was unamused about the removal of the dag. I wonder why she would get upset about losing it after sulking for 3 days because I had no time to bath her and hiding every time I mentioned the bath word. She hates the bath worse than the stink, I think. Lol. She is now clean as a dog whistle, all fluffy and sanitary again. She has a great big smile now that the scrubber-dubber-doo is over. 7th of December, 2009. Nursing my broken heart while laughing at my foibles. That was the devolution of the relationship with the courtmeister. I don't even know why I had a broken heart. It was completely a non-event that entire 5 years of my life. But Jesus. Life is so confusing, but it all becomes simple when you get off the carousel that's been paid for by the carny. And on that note, we complete our readings, my readings of even date, the 7th of December 2023. And tonight is the first candle of Hanukkah when the sun sets. I'll be lighting my candles in honour of my own personal triumph over oppression and adversity, and in honour of the ancient rededication of the Second Temple after being reclaimed from the Romans and purifying it, and the miracle where there was only enough oil to purify the temple, only enough oil to last for 1 day, and it takes 8 days of, they needed 8 days worth of oil to completely purify the temple, and the miracle was it lasted 8 days instead of only 1. So here we are, my beautiful ones. Happy Hanukkah, Chag Sameach to my Jewish friends, family, and subscribers and watchers. And blessed be from Titania's realm. And have a happy, joyous holiday season. Hanukkah for me, and Christmas for my Christian and secular friends, family, subscribers and watchers. And yeah, be at peace, be love, be happy. Many blessings from me and my little home here at Sacred Space. And love is the law, people. Bye for now.